It's becoming a regular thing. But we are here. I'm joined by the one and only Boxing Beats and Rhymes. Welcome. What a fantastic relationship we're forming.
Yes,
Regular
indeed.
lives. I hope this is streaming across your platform as well, which it should be. I don't know if you can check that.
I don't think it does, but
It
that's all
should
good.
do. It
How would
should.
it
It
do?
should.
Okay.
If you get your viewers up in here, you should. It definitely should be streaming across yours. Good evening to Jesus. So much is going on, Beats. We was only speaking last week post, Ngannou, AJ,
Yeah.
and already this week things are changing. I don't even. I'm going to leave it up to you this time. Where do you want to start? Because last week I kind of like ran it. So where do you want to start this week? Because we got a couple of things we need to cover.
Well, you can go to Frank Warren's card, Nathan Heeney, Joyce, got
Let's
Dillian.
do it.
We got the pullout from Keith Thurman,
Mm.
Tim Zoo.
A better
Lots
opponent with Fondura. Is it
Pandora.
Fondura?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a better opponent though.
It's coming off a knockout loss though to Brian Mendoza.
I think he might be all right.
You
You
think
don't think
so?
he? Yeah. Do you think Keith Thurman would have been a better one?
Well, one's coming off a knockout loss. The other one hasn't been
Mm.
relevant at 147 for years. It's a
The
mess,
lesser of
really.
two evils.
Yeah, like you shouldn't come up like coming off a knockout loss and you're fighting for two titles. There's two titles on the line.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. But I'm not a big cheerleader for the PBC. I think
Okay.
they're shocking. Actually, like alarmingly bad. Eddie Hearn predicted the ticket sales on Thurman and Zoo were going
He
to
does
bomb
this.
abysmally. Yes.
He does
And
this
all of a
all the
sudden,
time. It's like he's got a crystal ball.
well, he knows his business. He knows his business. And all of a sudden, is it just a coincidence that Keith falls apart this bicep injury?
Well, listen, they've got pictures of arms open with biceps hanging out and operations. The world that we live in today, isn't it? That you got to take a picture in an operation to prove that you're not lying.
Yeah, but I'm not tech savvy. I'm sure I can flip in, like put together something like that with a few minutes, study how to, yeah, like,
Yeah,
it's
we won't talk about doctoring pictures on this episode, will we? Seems to be a thing at the moment, isn't it? Making pictures that aren't real. But yeah, that's for another show. But I don't know. I think, like you said, you've got inactivity or knockout. You've got the ghost of is there ticket sales, which is something that us boxing fans seem to care more about these days than the actual fights themselves. A lot of people are like, oh, well, what were the ticket sales like? How many people were there? And it's like we're so concerned with the money that these fights make, almost like we're getting a cut of it, which I've always found that odd. Why do we do that, Beats? You've been studying the art a lot longer than me. Why are we so interested in funds when it's not like we're shareholders?
Well, it's pretty simple, really. Like watching boxing in the 90s and 80s and 70s on the television, you just get the fight and maybe a interview before and after, and that's it. But now we are privy to all these, sources, Benson, Coppinger, that guy, this guy, and the more you're exposed to, the more you're going to talk about. Like the conversation is going to go beyond just what happens in the ring, just because of the information that we're privy to. We're finding out, like discussing purse bids was foreign and alien to me, but every week I'm discussing like Ben Shalom, Is he going to mess up with this matchroom fighter? And it's just the way it is. I think like I've kind of adjusted to it, you know. Like,
Yeah, I
to be
hear
honest
that.
with you, when I started the channel, I thought I'm just going to be just doing boxing content primarily. But it's impossible to do that, really, if you're going to stay current on current events and current news. It's impossible just to stick with just what happens in the ring and pugilism, you
You
know.
know what? I might have to take a leaf out of your book because that honestly, something like that, pay-per-view buys and things like that, is not something that I actually take any notice of. But I'd like to obviously shout out everyone that's in the chat. But Zach Katz has put something in here, and absolute credit to the Boxing Voice with that exclusive about the key firm and pull out. Spot on. And I think somebody says, oh, you know, somebody must have added him on X and saying, oh, you're talking rubbish. And then obviously it came up into fruition that, yeah, the thing is with the Boxing Voice and a lot of these American channels, they're speaking to the fighters' teams. So they are getting these kind of like exclusives before they hit the mainstream, you know, and sometimes I don't think they get enough credit because it's like, oh, you know, it's just a YouTube channel, it's not mainstream, or they might have got a rumor wrong before. But shout out to the Boxing Voice because, yeah, they leaked that first.
Yeah, they hit a lick the other week again. What one was it?
Um,
I can't remember which it
yeah, I know
was.
that. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
have to
yeah,
go
yeah,
back to
yeah, yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah, Nez is on his business, man. Nez is on his business, 100% on his business. So,
Definitely on his business. So there's that going on. So should we just stick on the States for a minute then? Because I didn't get to speak to yourself about the whole Ryan Garcia thing. It was something that I've kind of muted on X because, you know, when it first started, I was like, people are just mocking this guy. He's obviously got some, you know, mental health issues. Maybe people should be reaching out to him rather than mocking him. But it just seems to be getting worse as the days go by. I mean, you're even getting people filming him doing what he's doing, whether he's trolling or not, who knows. But you've got Derek James looking hella depressed in the corner. I don't know. What's your take on that?
um, it's a car crash, basically.
Mm.
It's a car crash. Like, anyone who think that's 100% trolling or some kind of strategy to throw off Devin is crazy. Like, because the only person that can affect is you. If Derek, because as long as Devin is getting on with his training, how does it affect him? His dad said, "Oh, we're not concerned about this. I mean, like, if you're trying to troll, we're going to train for the best Ryan Garcia." Like Bill said, we're training for the Ryan Garcia who won all them amateur championships. How many times and how many this and how many that. And they're just going to stay out because that's what they've done all along. Remember, these people went to Mexico when Devin was young, fought over there. They went to Australia to get the belts. They've tried to make all the fights. They're all about business. It's just all professionalism. And like with Ryan, if it's mental health, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. If he's got serious mental health issues, being in a boxing ring is the wrong place to be. I'll say that.
He was supposed to have some kind of assessment, and then I think when I spoke to Blue Blood Sports, because I went over on his channel last week, and he was saying that he believes that he possibly just doesn't want the fight. And I said, would he go to that kind of extreme to get out of having a fight? And because it baffles me, because when you're seeing him do all of this stuff online, does it for 1 minute beats make you think, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to buy that fight. I'm definitely going to watch that. Nothing that he's doing is making me think of, yeah, this is really selling the fight,
Well,
because it isn't.
Ryan is under extreme pressure. That's why, like, he comes up with goofy lines and a lot of the antics because he's under a lot of pressure. Let's remember, right?
Okay.
It's not even a year since he was knocked out by Tank. Yeah, he's only had one fight in between against whatever his name was. Like, since, let's say, 2022, he's had a couple of fights. He's not prepped for this. There's no Derek James find magic solutions. They're still betting in that relationship, man. Right? And Ryan is not picking it up quick because he's not applying himself. Eddie Reynoso He didn't throw him out. They split, and him and Canelo. Remember, they fell out with Canelo. Canelo said Ryan is not taking the sport serious. Ryan got all bent out of shape. Oh, I'm not friends with Canelo, and then he started throwing Eddie Reynoso out the bus. So he left the gym, went to Joe Goosen. All Joe Goosen cared, you make sure my check hits the bank. That's it. Joe was relaxed when Ryan was doing all goofy stuff. He wasn't concerned. And now that's over. He tried to go back to Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso wouldn't let him in the gym. No, you're not coming back here. You do what you're doing.
It's disrespect, yeah.
Yeah. And right now, he's under so much pressure because he knows if he crashes and burns against Devin Haney, it's over. It's over. He's not getting no time to kind of like find his feet again. And I think with Oscar and Bernard and Robert Diaz, all they're thinking now is we can't even develop Ryan no more because he doesn't have the discipline and he's all about the place. We're just going to throw him in with Haney. And if he wins, okay, we win. At least we get a chance to make some actual big money off him and maybe he'll turn a corner. And that's the only option they're left with now. Throw him in with Haney. He shouldn't be taking the Haney fight, really. He needs to fight. He needs to fight about 3 or 4 fights this year. Consistency, hard fights, real fights. Find his form. Bed that relationship in with Derek James, and then go for Haney. Then go for the Tank rematch. Then go for them fights. He's under pressure, and that all we're seeing is a fighter stressed, and he's manifesting a lot of bullcrap because of this. He can't cope with the stress and demands. It's a lot of he's got all this Twitter following, and his issue is he's focused so much on the fame. Oh, I'm Ryan Garcia. I've got Twitter following. I'm this, and he can't live up to the character he's tried to make himself be, and it's just a lot of stress. Just a lot of stress.
You know what? That is probably the most evenly balanced opinion that I've heard. Yeah, stress, because he is all about the social media. You'll see that it's almost like a comfort blanket. He'll take to it whether he's upset, whether he's happy, and it's almost like this invisible friend that he's got. The attention that you get from obviously the fans and stuff. But me just looking at it, maybe like I said, I'll probably look at things from a mom's point of view. I just don't think he should be. If he's trolling, he's messed up for trolling like that. But if he's seriously got some issues, I just think he needs to be properly looked at, because why would you put somebody in the ring if they're struggling like that? And that's just the way I look at it. But Beats, somebody said, very true. In the terrestrial TV age, news cycles were limited. In the web age, news and reporting opportunities are unlimited. So people will fill it with every bit of news they can find. And that's from Alcil. So shout out to you. Shout out to the beautiful queen, Karma Serene. Who knew I could spit bars like that? That was a quick 4. October Red and Beats, better than peanut butter and jelly. Name a better duo. I'll wait. What a beautiful girl this woman is. She's awesome, isn't she?
Appreciate it, Karma. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a lot of time for Karma.
Back in the day, the only info, if you really want info on boxing, you had to buy boxing magazines. And how it worked, the boxing news from Britain, that was weekly. You could get weekly information. The Americans came out monthly. And that was the only place you could get boxing information. And even then, they weren't going into the purse bids and the fine details of site fees and this and that.
Yeah.
This is a phenomenon. It's totally different. It's changed the game totally. There are some channels who basically don't talk about no boxing. They talk about the business. They talk about purse bids. They talk about who's the A side, and that's all they deal with. And I'm not even saying they're bad channels. Some of them are good at what they do because they're studying in what they do. So yeah, it's a totally different, and that's what Ryan is caught in. Ryan is caught in all the stuff that should be irrelevant to him as a boxer.
The glitz, yeah, right. Totally agree.
And yeah, if he can get away from that and sort his head out, it's a lot of stress for these boxers these days, because they have to deal with all the social media, or well, they feel they have to. That's why you see Tyson Fury, I'm coming off social media, or he bans himself. And Derek Chisora, he's done the same thing because it can mess
It's
you up.
toxic.
You can lose yourself. It's easy to lose yourself in the internet or social media. Very easy. Very easy. You know, you could be on there talking to somebody, or they start trolling you. And then if you get caught up in what they say, you can be going back and forth. You think, well, what are you doing? Why don't you get on with what you was doing before? You know?
Yeah, it's great, and that's a good point as well, because, like I said, X to me is it's a beautiful place, but it's very, very toxic, and you could literally sometimes, you can get into debates with people, but I think maybe it's because it's shorthand messaging. People can be quite nasty on there, and before you know it, you've lost 4 hours out of your day arguing with someone that you can't even see who they are, and it's just not relevant. So as a professional fighter with like how much fold, more fans, more people watching them, that could be stressful if you let it get to you. So it's just an idea to probably just really not take social media to heart. And yeah, Tyson Fury, blackout, Derek Chisora, blackout. Yeah, you'll see them say, yeah, I'm going off social media. Ryan Garcia, it was said that he had his phones and everything taken off him. But then I'm sure the other day somebody said that he was on an Instagram live crying, upset.
Right.
So
What's
I
all
don't know
that
how
about?
that works. If he's had his phone taken off him or whatever. So yeah, it's
Do you remember?
just
I don't know
and
if you
then,
remember Manuel Char. This was
yeah,
about 10 years ago.
no,
Somebody was
no, go
trolling
on.
him. Somebody was trolling him because he got knocked out. Again, I think it was the Brady's, one of them knockouts. So, right? And instead of him just ignoring this person, he offered to meet the guy to sort it out. And he got shot in his stomach. Manuel Char got
Yes.
shot.
Excuse me,
He got
Manuel
shot.
Char. That's fighting in
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. He
just been
got shot from meeting a troll. He got shot.
damn. No, I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah, yeah. He got shot in his stomach. Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking,
No,
like, what did you think? Did you think somebody was going to come and fight you fist to fist? You're a heavyweight
as a
boxer.
boxer. Mm.
Crazy. Like, for him, but it obviously got to him. And I guess with boxers, it gets personal because you're in the ring. Okay, someone's just chinned the guy, and now he's getting ribbed, and he's thinking, "Why?" Like, I don't know. I don't know. It must be tough to juggle all of it. Must be tough. Must be tough. See, with football, they don't have them issues. The footballers cannot, like, for instance, me and you would not be able to interview no
Yeah,
Premiership
I hear
football,
that.
no one from the
Yeah, I
champ.
hear that.
We wouldn't even get near to them unless they're retired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get that, and that is why I always keep my mouth shut. Like, you get some people that are a bit ungrateful in
yeah.
the industry, and I'm just like, all right, listen, I know for a fact if it was like, say, F1, because I'm a massive, I don't care about football, but I'm a massive F1 fan. I would
Okay.
love to go in the pit lanes and speak to, the race car, their Formula One drivers, their teams. I'd love to do that. And I know I can't get anywhere near them. So boxing is kind of like, it's a very privileged, we're privileged to be able to get that close to the fighters. So that's why you try not to be so like disrespectful towards them, because you're allowed into a space which any other sport you wouldn't be able to get anywhere near them. So shout out to everyone in the chat that's just joined. Boxing Corner Casuals, Zach Katz, Jesus, Boxing Pound for Pound Jack, Chris Welsh has put something on here. Let's have a look. I'd pull Garcia out of the fight, especially with his mental state. Haney stops Garcia in 6 if it happens. Garcia, as Beat said, needs to fight regularly. Boxing Corner Casuals, those clauses against Davis didn't favour Garcia. It just favoured Davis. So I'd like to see Garcia and Gervonta too, with no rehydration clauses.
Well,
Sorry. Yeah, go on.
Even if we deal with that rehydration clause, right?
Mm-hmm.
Austin didn't want him to do that.
Mm.
Oscar was like, what are you doing? Because he can't control Ryan. Ryan went off. Yeah, I want to fight Tank. I don't care about the relegation clause. Oscar, Bernard, and Robert did. No, no. But he was determined to go and do it. He didn't listen. Impulsive. And he's
Mm.
got
Mm.
all-time great people looking for his career. Bernard Hopkins, right? You've got Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins. Oscar was
Yep.
telling, yo, Ryan, you can't fight Tank unless you have a warm-up fight. He was adamant. Like
Wow.
I saw the stress on his face because this is a man who's won multiple weight divisions, right? And was a
Yes.
great
Yep.
fighter. He said, you can't fight this guy unless you take the warm-up. And he wouldn't listen. So how am I going to have an all-time great fighter mentoring me, managing and promoting me, telling me that I need to take the warm-up fight? No, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do the rehydration course. Destroying, just destruct. It's just destruction, total destruction. The only reason you go with Golden Boy, the only reason you go with Eddie Hearn is because they're going to tell you, nah, don't do this, don't do that. Let me tell you this, right? Sorry to go on, ramble on, right?
Nah, do it,
I,
do it, do it.
I interviewed Francis Ampofo, former British flyweight champion. I can't find the interview anywhere. And he wanted to fight, who was it? Was it Barrera? He wanted to fight Marco Antonio Marco Barrera. Dangerous fight. The guy, Eddie Hearn and Barry said, no, we can't let you do that because you're going to get hurt. And they got him another fight for decent money. And like him and Eddie were really close. He used to take Eddie around East London when Eddie was a kid. And they said, no, and he said, they protected me from myself. And that's the reason you get the expertise of a Frank Warren, right? Like Frank Warren used to have Ernie Fossey, and then after that, it was the other guy who died the other year. These guys know how to guide, protect your career. And if you don't listen, you're gonna fail. You can't these have got years and years of experience. You know what I mean? Crazy. And he's just not listening.
But you know what? It's interesting that you say that because you talk about obviously people being protected. Because I put up a tweet, if you still say a tweet on X, I don't know, and it was literally two separate quotes from both Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. And Eddie Hearn said, "Don't be afraid to lose if you're in a great fight." And Frank Warren, same story, different side of the coin. It's not about losing; it's about how you lose. So when you talk about fighters being protected now, I know that I've spoke with Eddie Hearn and he spoke about like they really admire the UFC model. They're sort of like they want these risky fights. They're prepared to throw their fighters into the fire to get better fights. With the assurity, like if you don't worry if you get smoked, like if it's not that bad and you put up a good fight or it's an entertaining fight, you can come again.
Yeah.
Which is it's totally flipped it on its head now because everyone was trying to protect their they're trying to, I don't know, trying to like pad the records, get them up to a decent level, then start putting them in riskier fights. But we're starting to see risky fights early where you're going in against an opponent with basically the same kind of, the same kind of wins and losses, if there are any, as you. What do you think about that?
Well, Dalton's like people like I know people are overlooking Jose Cepeda on Saturday, but this is a man
I
who's
ain't.
got 27 knockouts in 30 plus fights. If you like, Richardson Hitchens is an excellent prospect. He said everyone's telling me to go for a knockout, but I could feel the power in his punches. I had to box him. You get that wrong, and it's all over. That's a tough fight. That's a very, very tough fight. And Dalton hasn't even had 20 fights, but he's been active and he's built him to Commonwealth and thing. So this is the next step. All they can do is guide you, but they can't go in. Eddie can't go in the ring and fight. Frank can't go in the ring and fight for them. And that's what it is. It's guidance. And to me, Ryan had very good guidance. He's not listening. Dalton, it seems like he's listening. He's listening to
Mm.
Eddie. He trusts the matchmaker. He trusts Grant Smith, his dad. And hey, listen, man. Matchroom are making their fighters go for it, and that's good. And I think Frank is stepping up with the against 5, and it's great for boxing, great for British, great for world boxing. You know,
Yeah,
but see,
I think it is.
yeah, there's a difference between protecting and guiding, because you have to protect.
Mm.
You know, well, it's kind of like they cross into each other, but you know, yeah, yeah. You've got to let them go. You got to let them go. You got to let them go.
When I think, because, AP, good evening to you, AP. I can't show any favoritism, but you know what it is. Eddie saying it and doing it is two different things. Um, if he'd said that probably 2 years ago, I might have agreed. But what I'm seeing now, say for example, we can use it for the fight this weekend. We've got Ishmael Davis going in against Troy Williamson. Troy Williamson, we've seen what he did to Ted Cheeseman. We saw him in an absolute war with Kievan Ajarko, and he's
Yeah,
coming back in again. Fair enough, they might be seeing him as the B side because Ishmael, could be the favourite. But Troy is a good fight for Ishmael at Ishmael's stage of the career, because you can't really fall asleep on Troy because he's dangerous as well. Fair enough, he's had the Josh Kelly loss. I get that, fine, but it's still a tricky fight for Ishmael. You've got Cameron Vong versus Jordan Flynn. Cameron Vong tipped to be the next best thing. Both of him and Jordan are running on parallel records, but they're going in against each other. So when it comes to like Eddie, he'll bring you back if you're in those type of exciting fights. And then
yeah,
with Frank Warren, it's proven, because we saw the rise and the fall and then the rise of Daniel Dubois. We've sort of like seen the same thing with Joe Joyce, where, the rise, the fall, the rise, the fall, and Frank says it like, yeah, we'll bring them back. So we are seeing that. It's arguable that maybe at certain level you can talk about fringe world level, but for the likes of Ishmael Davis, for the likes of Cameron Vong and Jordan Flynn, they're young in the game and they're going into risky fights. Yeah, if the loser comes back after this, then yeah, he's kept his word. But we're definitely getting. I think with Eddie, and I don't know how you see it, Beats. If
yeah,
you're in good fights, he'll like you. It doesn't matter if you get smoked. But what Eddie doesn't like, is boring fights, because they don't bring in money. Eddie's lot more loyal. Say, if you're going to look at it as a landscape, he's more loyal to the money than the fighter, unless it's his favourites. So you've got to bring that revenue in. And if you're not bringing that revenue, or he's watching the fight, and I've watched him watch fights, Beats, and he's like, you can see he's not impressed.
yeah, yeah.
So I think it's like, if the fight's exciting and if he's, I think, yeah, if you lose, he will let you run it back, but only time will tell with that one. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, look, with Frank and Eddie doing all that work in Saudi Arabia, all right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys on the domestic front, whether at Queensbury or Matchroom, are going to have to step up,
Step
because
up, bro.
there's not going to be, oh, okay, we're going to give you years and years just to get to Southern Central area level. No, you step up. You got to step up. If you're like, get yourself fit, train hard, and step up. I'm looking forward to Ishmael and Troy Williamson. I think it's a dangerous fight for Ishmael, but why not? Why not? It's a good fight. You know what I mean? It's a good fight. Campbell Hatton against James Flint is a good test for the Central
Mm.
Area title, 135. A lot of people are picking James Flint to upset Campbell.
Yeah, I've seen that. But can you understand why?
Well, because, like, they think Campbell's a privileged kid, the son of Ricky. Can he really fight? James, has had to win his title on the small hall circuits, and, he's got a winning record. And listen, this is like a world title fight for both of them. Like, James is like, he's gonna go all guns blazing to get that scalp of Ricky Hatton's son. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful for the mantelpiece, isn't it?
Of course. Of course. If he wins that, then it might be winner stay on for him. And he might say, okay, we'll bring back James Flynn. This is a massive opportunity for him. Massive, huge.
And And this is what I like, because then it's pressure for the fighters, because how hungry are you? How much do you want this? It puts that, because sometimes I think who said it to me? It was one of the promoters have said sometimes when these guys think that they're signed, they've got a contract, they can take it easy, sort of like rest on their laurels and not have that hunger, that greed inside of them to want to be best, because they've got this comfort blanket of that contract. That's going to kind of like go out the window. We're not really seeing promoters sign fighters now. It's almost like it's a fight. You're on our books, but you're not really on our books. And
Right.
it's like they want them to put that maybe like apprenticeship in. It's almost like you've got to go through this, like what do they call it, like a probationary period where you've got to prove your worth before we actually think, you know what, you're worth the investment. It's tough out there, because with all of the promoters, with Saudi in the picture, it creates a lot of competition.
Yeah.
It's going to weed out. It will weed out. It will sift out the ones that really want it, or the ones that are just there. Like I said, the social media attention, etc., etc. Albeit that does play a massive part, and you can see the rise of the social media kings as well. Which obviously back in the day, it was about results.
I remember it was around 2017, and we had a mass load of world champions in Britain, about 12 or 13, a whole load of them, right? And Eddie was doing all of this with AJ and stuff like that. And he was like, I remember watching one show, and about 2 or 3 unbeaten prospects, Matt, got battered because he
Yes.
put with tough opponents, man. You know what I mean? Like, it was sink or
Do you
swim.
remember Josh Warrington, Lara? Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah, I do. Got turned over.
Yeah. The one that was tipped to win. It was, it was beautiful. But I don't know about you, Beats, but when I hear that Mexican music for the ring walks, I always get a bit nervous because it can literally go left for the home fight. As soon as I hear that music, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm wherever. It's like, no, this fight could
And look,
fully go
I've
left.
heard Mexican fight fans that they basically think that British and European are soft touches. So, like,
They do.
the fighters are extra aggressive when they come after them. You mean, it's like, it's tough. It is tough. It is tough. It's very tough. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
Dodge said
question
we had
from Metal.
16 champions. We had 16
Yeah.
champions.
16. Good
Yeah.
question from Metalbox J. What's happened to Felix Cash? Good question. It's a question that I've been asking. It's definitely a question that Tyler Denny's been asking, because obviously Matchroom won the purse bids. We're
Yeah.
just obviously Tyler's just waiting for a fight date, but he's worried about the curse of inactivity. But Tyler Denny he'll do as he's told, and he will wait. He just wants to fight, so we don't know. Emmanuel Abassa has said, what's up with the Dalton Smith and Adam Azim purse bid? Well, I watched the Matchroom conversation with Eddie Hearn, which sort of conflicted with the poster that Sky Sports put out. Sky Sports has put up the picture of both of them, and it's sort of like they're on a collision course to fight each other. But then Eddie Hearn has said in a recent interview, courtesy of Matchroom, that Frank Smith has had a message to say that they're not taking the fight. So maybe it's a fight that will happen down the road. But I don't want Dalton Smith's head to get all cloudy, because he's got a tough opponent that he's got to go in and face on Saturday. So the last thing I'm going to be talking to him about is purse bids. He's got to focus on this fight, because if he's thinking about Adam Azim, if he's thinking about mandatories, if he's thinking about fights being ordered, that can mess him up for this Zepeda fight, which he's got on the weekend. So yeah, it's just one of them. We're going to have to see what happens.
Stay focused. Like, why did Matchroom bid for Felix Catch and Tyler Denny? Felix isn't with Matchroom no more. I don't get that.
I thought he was with Matchroom. He's just not at the gym.
Oh,
is he
he's
not
still
with Matchroom? Yeah, I thought he's still with Matchroom, but he's trained by Adam Booth.
Okay. He's left the Matchroom gym, not Matt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So why is Tyler Denny worried then about if maybe?
I think he's just worried. It's like waiting for a date. Now Ben he's fighting on Match. He's fighting on Matchroom. Ben Shalom lost the purse bid. That's a purse bid that actually went through.
Oh, it went through. Wow.
Yeah, it's fine. Matchroom won it.
Okay. Okay. Well, he'll get his date. He'll get his date. He'll get his date. Like Felix has been through a lot. They say he had some, is it like mental health issues? So let's see what he does when he returns. Like, you know, he's kind of lost his way from that Denzel Bentley performance where he destroyed Denzel. He looked the business that night.
Yeah, that was a few years ago now. But then
Yeah.
we can, and you know what? That's a perfect way to exit this and go over to, and we got to speak about it. Nathan Heeney, Brad Pauls. I was ringside. I had the pleasure of, watching that live, being there. And the first person that come into my mind was Denzel Bentley. And I thought, if Denzel Bentley went back in there, he would have won that fight.
He looked half asleep. Nathan Heeney. I don't know what it was. He looked like disinterested. I don't know what it was. It was very. I was watching the fight. I said, "What's going on, Denzel? Like, throw your hands. Like, what's going on?" I thought Brad Paul was hard done by in the 8th
because of the excessive gum shield spitting.
Yeah. Like, that wasn't a convenient time to put the gum shield back in. He was about to steam into it. And what, you stopped the action there? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I think Nathan
battle of the ticket sellers.
Was Brad Paul the ticket seller?
Brad Paul's bought about 150 people up from Cornwall, and I think Nathan Heeney was in excess of thousands with the ticket.
They said he sold 2,000 tickets, and he delivered them all himself to people. Yeah,
he's a lovely guy. Well, to be fair, they're both lovely guys. But I was just thinking, Denzel Bentley is like, oh. But it was a good fight. There was a lot of to-in and fro-in. Brad Pauls did way better than I thought he was going to do. But when I spoke to him at the presser, he was really focused, really, really focused. Because obviously he'd fought Tyler Denny before on a boxer card. So, so he's kind of like floating around trying to really push himself out there. Good boxer, entertaining to watch. So hopefully, we'll see him come back, because obviously that fight was a draw. But Beats, I got listen, shout out to Richard Towers.
Richard Towers.
Richard Towers was in the corner of Cash Ali, and I really had to compose myself, because the way he was giving instruction to Cash Ali was brutal. It was so. What did you hear it on the TV? What did you hear him saying? Because he got warned a couple of times.
He kept repeat that, and again. He was screaming at him, like to get that right hand in. But to me,
he was calling him stupid and everything.
Wow.
He said because I could beat Joe Joyce. He was proper going for it. But I've been there when Cash Ali sparred, and he's like that. He's just so passionate. It's just like verbal abuse. But you see, after Cash got knocked out and they were coming out the ring, obviously when the fight's all over, he was literally holding Cash like a baby, like saying, "Come on, hold on to me. We'll get you out the ring." So he's gone from like this animal that was like banging the side of the thing and shouting at him and saying, "You're useless," and blah, blah, and all the rest of the stuff, which I won't repeat on here, to then saying, come here, son. I'll look after you. And it's just his passion. But yeah, I don't know. Shout out Richard Towers.
Richard's wild, isn't it? Like, he's done Bird and stuff. he's a bit of a crazy boy, isn't it? So,
but he's a lovely gentleman. I've spoke to him before, and he's lovely.
Yeah.
I just probably wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him.
No, you wouldn't. I've heard more. I won't say no more. I've heard more. But Cash Ali, his issue was he found that right hand. Where was the left hook? Where was the left hand? Like, he didn't throw it. Like, I didn't see him aiming and Joe was like sitting duck for them shots, man. And, conceivably, if he believed in himself more, he could have beat Joyce. He could have beat him on point.
It was like he was almost, because Richard, once again, because I was in the away corner by ringside, he was shouting out the right shots for Cash to do, and he was saying, "Why are you not doing it? Listen to what I'm saying. Throw that hook. Start bunching your shots together." He was giving him all of the right instructions, but Cash was sitting back and then throwing in the overhand right. His hands were down. He was like playing possum on the ropes, trying to get Joyce to come in. It was interesting, and I don't know, Beats. Let's keep it real. Should that fight have gone that far? Or should Joyce have got him out earlier? This is a debate right now, because this touches on Dillian Whyte, which we're going to move on to shortly. But Beats, go on, man.
I'm trying not to be too critical, because I think after I say, Beats must really have it in for Joyce, but he's too heavy, man. He's too heavy. He didn't have Salas in the corner. He's got this Steve Broughton. What's his credentials?
I don't know.
Broughton. How serious is Joe taking it right now? Why is he coming in heavy as that? He looks so ponderous. Let's be honest. So ponderous.
Can we take into account the losses, Beats, or am I trying to make up excuses? I'm trying to, when you sit and you just watch and say what it is, and am I feeling sorry for him? What, I don't know.
I don't know. See, that's what I'm trying not to be too tough on him, but we have to take it into account. Cash Ali has been a pro for a few years. He was in Peter Fury's gym. Probably sparred some good people. He's got Richard Towers there, and probably not that easy to get out of there like that. You know what I mean? So bear that in mind. Joe's just got to improve. He's got to improve his conditioning. Then punches he throws, the weird action on his arm. He's trying to swat a fly, but it's not like he's batting downwards instead of punching through the target. And he got the W. He got the W.
And that's it. And it's like you sat there and you're thinking, he got the W. And then you're thinking, okay, fair enough, he's come off 2 bad losses. Like when I say losses, a stoppage, and obviously the medical stoppage on the first one.
Yeah.
And then you think, okay, well, what happens with him now? You're only as good as your last fight. We've got 2 losses, and then we've got this fight, which is a comeback fight, which was, now you look at it, it was cleverly matched. Before, people are like, well, what's the point of this? Joel's going to bloody flatten him, and, he's going to be gone within 3. But then it ends up to not being that. So shout out to, obviously, the matchmakers that saw that, this is probably the fight that he needs. He doesn't seem as if he was happy with his performance. But it's kind of like this ceiling. I was talking about it with Gareth. It's like we blow the ceiling off. And we touched on it last week, where we hype someone because they've got this, this perfect performance, where they've smoked someone. It's been a beautiful KO. And then all of a sudden they lose. And then this ceiling that had been blown off tends to just start building. And I'm looking at Joe and I'm thinking, seriously now, where does he go? How much has he got left? Am I being harsh? What's the reality of this?
Well, how old is he now? He's going on 38.
Is he?
I believe so, yeah. About 38 years of age. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Do they let him? See, the thing is, he's got a multiple fight deal with Frank Warren. And the reason Salah wasn't in the corner is because they couldn't really give him a purse, a wage out the purse he'd be getting for fighting Cash Ali. That's why he wasn't in there. So Frank Warren isn't going to want, because Frank's probably got a cap on how little he can pay Joyce, because he's got a multiple fight deal. So Frank isn't going to want another Cash Ali in there. He's going to want a fight of significance so he can get some bang for his buck. So Joe right now has to step up the training, get a
Yeah.
big fight. You got the machine. Queensbury can get him a big fight, and let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can do. Like, he's had a prolific amateur career. You know what I mean? We have to say that. It's silver medalist.
He's Olympian, yeah.
Olympian. There's no need for him to be honest, from being the number one contender to Cash Ali is a big drop. It's a huge drop. No disrespect to Cash Ali.
No disrespect at all. No.
It's a huge drop. And to me, if Joe is batting around at English, not even British level, like at Cash Ali level, he's not going to be motivated. He's not going to get nothing out of it. You've got to get him at least to European, fringe world level. And if he can't cut it, you had a great career, you've had some good wins, you've made some money, move on.
So what do you think about, all right then, okay then, he's mentioned in a couple of interviews, and it was really strange, but it was honest of him, and this is why you have to rate Joel Joyce. He's open and he's honest. He said, he alluded to the fact that, I probably won't fight Zhang because his style's just not for me, which is weird because you usually hear every professional boxer, they'll say it with their chest, whether they're telling the truth or not. Yeah, I'll fight him. Yeah, I'll rematch him. But Joel's kind of like, it was almost like he was saying, I don't see how I beat him. And it's like, wow. So, he's clearly thinking about these opponents. Yeah, he's back. He's happy that he's back. He's not happy with his performance, but he's sort of like rubbed out a potential rematch with Zhang.
Well, right now, at this moment, he knows what his ceiling is.
And this is what I'm saying. So what is it? What is his ceiling then now? Well, after this, I know he's just had this fight. It's just his comeback fight. But what do you see his ceiling as now?
Well, we got to be real. He knows on that performance there, yeah? He's not a top 5 heavyweight. He knows it right now. He knows, right? He said it himself. I can't fight Zhang, right? He might feel confident to beat Joseph Parker because he's done it once, and stylistically he might feel more comfortable. But he knows now he needs to either make improvements or get that big step-up fight, motivate himself, and perhaps something will happen and his fortunes will turn around. But like that statement in itself is a defeated fighter. That's what we're looking at right now. That performance and what he said there is a defeated fighter. Like, mentally, he's defeated right now.
That's this is what I'm saying, Beats. I'm not trying to sound horrible. I'm just like, it's just. I get it. He's honest and he's raw. But it's like, Zhang, I'm not sure, but and it was like Parker, I think I'll go for Parker because obviously he's beat Parker already. I get that, but Parker's on a different trajectory now, and boxing is just like chess, don't you think, Beats? 1 minute, you're lined up at the back of the board, but then with a couple of swift moves, you're taking over the ups. It's rapid. And then, then you can fall back because if someone's clever, they can, get you out of the way. But it's crazy that Joel Joyce got splattered by Joel Joyce,
right?
And then look at the trajectory from that with Joseph Parker, outboxed Deontay Wilder, making Deontay Wilder look mediocre. He just keeps on getting better, and then Joel Joyce has literally slipped back, and it's like, well, where is he now? It's crazy. Boxing is just like it's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's as great as like even AJ against Ngannou, great victory, but AJ knew he was going to win the fight. I actually believe AJ actually not that he was overconfident, but whatever happened to Fury, whether he's in decline or he's not as good as some people say, AJ was a concern. He knew he could beat that guy. AJ was doing stuff that I couldn't. He even threw, like the first knockdown, he basically threw 2 punches at once. He threw a left to the stomach, a decoy punch, and a right hand at the same time. Like, he must have been so confident to do a move like ridiculously
Yeah.
confident.
It's almost like almost like a feint into the body, wasn't it?
Right? Yeah.
Mm,
And Parker, I picked Parker to beat Zhang, but I didn't know if he could do it because the styles. Zhang flags down that stretch, and Parker normally finishes strong. Apart from the Joyce
mm.
fight, normally finishes strong. And Wilder, I didn't pick the Wilder fight. I didn't think he was going to
I
win
did.
that. But
I did.
Wilder is a hype job. Sorry to say it. Like,
I
just keeping
picked
it
it.
real.
I said the only banana skin on this card is Parker Wilder, and I knew that
Okay.
Parker was going to win. Parker's is consistently improved. He's got a beautiful momentum. He understands. You can see him using his IQ in the ring. He knew like the blueprints of how a fight, and he did the same thing with Zhang. He did it because look at Zhang. Like we spoke about this last week. Zhang got to the halfway mark and then just stopped working. It's like, you know, when you've got a wind up toy, and then that wine just finishes, and then it's just there, just like nothing. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But then when Joyce came in at such a heavy weight beats, like
Yeah.
heavy, I thought this reminds me of Zhang last week. I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this now because Cash is lighter, and I've seen him. He can move around the ring. I've watched him spar. So I was like, And then obviously, then I just thought, yeah, okay, let's see. Obviously, you know, Joyce got him out of there. He was hurt as well a couple of times, and then he finally got him out of there. But I expected it's twofold really. I expected more, but I wasn't
Yeah.
surprised at the result, kind of thing.
I saw Cash at the weigh-in, and he was scared of Joe. But what I saw, I saw fear. I saw the fear very briefly, and he took that into the fight, and he couldn't shake it off. So he fought scary. Okay, I'll go on the ropes, I'll lean back, and
Yeah.
I'll try and score a one-punch shot.
Survival.
Yeah, if he was up for it and didn't have that apprehension, I shouldn't say fear, apprehension, he could have won that fight. He could have won.
Wow.
He could have won that fight. Because it's mental, isn't it? A lot of it, it's all just mental. A lot of boxers lose fights just
100%.
because of their mental approach and application to the fight. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you lose before you get in the ring, innit? You lose before you get in the ring. But then we've got to now push over. Sorry, let me just go through some of the chat. Somebody said Gisora versus Joyce. Well, I'm going to touch on what I think should be next. So Ron A said Don Charles has recently been talking about Joyce v. Yoka. Yeah, I think Joyce can do that easy, especially with that Olympic beef. I'm quite confident in Joyce for that one. If he sees Bolmack can save Joyce, Boxing Corner Casuals, respectively. That's the attitude of somebody who wants to make money and just get some fights. You cannot fight the big dogs or anyone around them. So I take it we're still talking about Joyce, but this is where we're gonna go. We've got to talk about Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte made his comeback in Ireland, a non-televised boxing event with his teammate Thomas Carty, which I haven't seen that fight on the undercard. It was literally, to me, it seemed like last minute, and then obviously went in against the credible, boxer that's been around for ages, Christian Hammer. I wouldn't argue that that's not a bad comeback fight. He's been out the ring for 15 months. I think he got in with some really good body shots. He worked the body quite well. And then I think broke his nose, and then he retired. Young Christian Hammer retired on his stool. So then Dillian's frustrated, said he wanted to do more, get more rounds in, but he got some of his frustration out. Yet again, probably not happy with his performance, etc., etc. Looked kind of fleshy himself, if I'm honest, as well, around the midriff.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on that fight? To me, there wasn't enough for me to gauge it, but I still thought Dillian looked a bit slow too.
Yeah, his balance was like, when I saw when he went to avoid punches and use his feet, he felt falling off balance. He was a little shaky on his balance. His body punches was good. I like the body punching. Done a few catch and shoots, but like he strikes. Some of the headshots were really wild and crude, very crude. Um, he said he was frustrated with Hammer. I think he's more frustrated with himself and his situation that he's in, because I saw him doing an interview and he said, "Why don't they just let me get on with my career?" And he's talking about the board. He didn't say the board, but he's frustrated by that. He's frustrated that he's missing out on that Saudi money, the big fights.
I don't think he's talking about the board, Beats, because he's been licensed by the Texas Boxing Commission for about 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, licensed by the
BBFC. How does that license work? That allows him to fight in Britain?
Now you're asking me a question that I can't answer. I'm not sure. I don't think there's 100% of our British fighters that are licensed by the British Boxing Board of Control. I'm not even sure if Tyson Fury is licensed by the British Boxing Board of Control. I don't know. Could be wrong with that one. But I know that Dillian has been, because it was a question that I've asked him because he was supposed to come on the channel and he hasn't yet. But I said, can you just explain it? And he said he's been licensed by the Texas Commission for years. So when he's talking about those people letting me fight, I think that's not directed at the governing bodies in the UK.
So who is he talking about then?
Ladies and gentlemen, you put your answers in the chat to who you think Dillian Whyte is talking about when he's referred to that. I don't know what interview that was. I watched the fight on Pro Boxing Fans, so shout out to them. And then I watched these post-fight interview with them. And I'm not sure if he said that in that one, but those are the only two things that I've seen.
Okay. Yeah. It was a strange evening, to be honest. The iPhones, not even recording, the right way. Yeah, it's very, very strange. And then, Sky uploaded a version of it. What was Dillian expected to Christian Hammer? He's had the one fight since 2022. Yeah, he's old as anything. What was he gonna do? Stay there, keep taking body shots, and get knocked out spectacularly to make Dillian look? No, come on, man.
It's tough, but I guess Dillian is obviously with what's happened with him, positive test. Obviously, it's come out that it was contamination, etc., etc. He's sat there with his.
Sorry to stop you. We say that, but that's that Texas. Who are these Texas people? Who are they?
I don't know. You're gonna have to Google them. But AP's just put Tyson's licensed by Nevada, so there you go. I knew he wasn't from the British Boxing Board of Control as well. So the Texas stuff, I'm not sure. I know that there's been a few tweets going around about this Texas Boxing Commission. It's them again, but he's been with them for years.
That's weird. Because they done the investigation. I'm thinking, well, Vardy didn't do the investigation to clear him. It hasn't been passed on to UCAD. So, how credible is that investigation? I'm not doubting him, but I'm thinking,
I think that, and I get it because we don't know the full ins and outs of the thing. It's just been put out that they've done, they've found out that it's contamination, and that's it. It's very vague. So when things are vague, it still will leave that kind of grey area where people will question it because we don't have obviously the full facts, and I guess we're not going to get all of that information, are we? It's kind of that's it. It is what it is, and let's see what happens next. But Dillian Whyte, Joyce, I think that's a good fight to make because of where they both are. Because we can, we talk about this ceiling. When we put these two together now, it will be okay. We know where each of them are. We should be able to say, okay, it's probably, you're on the slide or whatever. But I think those two are at a good point to be able to put that to the test. I don't know. What do you think? And what do you think in the chat? I think, to be fair, I think I've seen a couple of people say that. But what do you think, Beats?
Why not? Why not? That's one that either the Saudis can pick up or they can have it at any venue in London, yes, I love it. I'd love to see that. I might actually go to see that.
Who would you
Yeah.
think would win though? Like based on when you look at, and I know we can't really call it because we just can't, can we? But based on performances, who would you say is the favourite then, rather than calling a winner? Who would you say is the
Who
favourite?
would be the favorite? It's tough to say. That's really tough. I think that's why it's a compelling match.
Mm.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I'd probably I think Joe still takes a better shot. Even though he got knocked out by Zhang. I don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. Dillian's got better hand skills though.
He turns his shots over nicer. Like he
Yeah,
turns,
yeah,
he
yeah,
really
yeah.
rotates.
Yeah, he rotates into his shots. He punches through the target a bit better. Um, boy, I'll probably go for Dillian.
Yeah, I think I was edging towards Dillian, but then it's like Joyce will take shots. Look, I'm not saying how he can take Dillian shots because we know that Dillian can whack. But Joyce, there's that relentlessness of him where he just keeps coming forward. And it's like, how is Dillian going to be on the back foot? He's somebody that I'll probably try to tie him up because he doesn't want to go on the back foot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Dillian is not that back foot fighter.
No, he's
So
not.
I
He's
think
not.
like when Joyce is coming forward, because Joyce wants to push you back relentlessly, like bang, 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 literally in that rhythm, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And then how's Dillian going to tie up? Because Joyce is massive as well. He's tall and he's big. So how's Dillian going to really, he's tie him up because that's what he tends to do when somebody tries to push him onto the back foot.
Dillian, see where Cash Ali wasn't putting that left foot behind that right hand. Dillian will put it
He'll
it
put his
behind
shots
it.
together.
Yeah, yeah, he'll put them together and Joyce would be perfect for Dillian to hit because he's slow.
Yeah, he's
Slow
there to
and
be hit, isn't he?
don't put much detail to try and to slip punches.
See,
So
Dodger's put in there that he thinks it's a 50-50.
yeah, 50-50 is fair. 50-50
Is it
fair.
Saudi worthy though, Beats? Is it a Saudi worthy fight that would you plonk that fight on a Saudi card? Is that fight Saudi worthy? Are we going to look forward to seeing them two go at it? Because this is what His Excellency is going to be doing. He would have watched them fights, and he's looking at building a schedule, and he's thinking, okay,
maybe not a headliner, maybe on the undercard.
You reckon it's worthy of an
undercard?
undercard?
Yeah. You can definitely get on an undercard. Yeah, definitely get on an undercard. Yeah, but yeah.
Wow.
And if not, like the UK is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. That'd be a big night. That'd be a big night because we got two mandatory. Dillian was. Joe was in the mandatory position. Both of them lost their way, and now to try and get back. It'll be a huge night.
It could be literally combat, couldn't it? That could be the name of the card where they're putting on, certain fighters, and it's like the comeback. Zhang could be on there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Redemption.
Deontay Wilder could be on there. Yeah, you've got all of these fighters that are like, and it's like you can literally see. You know what Saudi's like with the promos and that. I love all of that stuff. So yes, it'll be a beautiful card in the UK. Sorry, sometimes I forget that I'm from the UK, but I'm just looking at the Saudi model where they sort of have these themes with the cards. You've got the Ring of Fire, Knockout Chaos, Day of Reckoning, and then this one's like the Comeback or whatever, crazy name you want to give it with that promo. And it's like these fighters, people say, are they washed or can they improve? Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua, I'd say are the two most improved heavyweight boxers that have suffered losses and have really, really, really dug deep and thought, you know what, I ain't having this. And you've got to respect them for it because no matter how much money they've got in their bank, it's not about it's not about the belts. It's not about the money. It's about literally showing that they can
Right.
still do it. And I love
About
that.
right.
That's that hunger, isn't it? That they would have
Yeah.
had when they were like new in the game. It's like that hunger's come back.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. I think that fight there will be down to who has the better training camp.
Yeah.
Literally down to who has the better training camp.
Mm.
What I saw, yeah.
Well, would he have Ismail Salas back in his corner as he's got this young chap that he's got there? He's mentioned that he's possibly have Ismail back in for maybe a bigger fight, etc. But he thought the coach that he had would suffice for the Cash Ali fight. Obviously, we know that Dillian is stuck with Buddy McGirt through thick and thin. They clearly get on very well. Dillian's very comfortable with him as his coach. You can see the Buddy McGirt style that flickers through Dillian, that flickered through that Zeno, the 258 fighter that was on the Day of Reckoning. Beautiful. He literally had that Buddy McGirt style to a T. And then obviously you got Dan Aziz with it. It's the crossbar. It's keeping that hand like under the chin, ready to parry and go back with the jab. Beautiful. I like Buddy McGirt's style. So I think that's that's good for Dillian. But I think he's just got to probably just lose just tone up a little bit, not be so fleshy.
Yeah, definitely. See, you got to be consistent because, like, the issue that Joyce and Dillian are having, like, they look like they're going to have to play catch up fitness because they haven't been consistent with the fitness, and that's a bad thing. And I think that's what's catching Tyson Fury up a little, and it's helped Joshua. I think Joshua is always like, okay, I stay fit. But Usyk, stay fit.
Oh, did you see what he put? Did you see what
that?
Usyk tweeted?
What did he tweet?
Hold on a minute. Where's it gone? Usyk tweeted or X'd or whatever you want to call it. Usyk. He posted something quite cutting. He said, "Your camp just started. Mine never finished."
Whoa.
We're 2 months out from this fight. Listen, 2 months out for this fight. We're seeing, more videos with Tyson Fury, really proper, like he's looking trim. You can see that he's in his training and he's really starting to look focused. I think the Ngannou fight would have been a wake up for anybody. Then obviously he sat ringside and saw what AJ did to him. So all of these things, when it either makes or breaks you, this is going to make him like sit down and think, hold on a minute. I really need to knuckle down. And AP said that will make the victory even sweeter. He knows that he's in for a fight, but it's good to see that he's taking it seriously.
Well, the thing is, he took Ngannou seriously.
Yeah, it's us fans that keep on saying that he didn't. We keep making excuses up. Listen, I've done it.
If he didn't take him serious, he would have got knocked out. That's not taking Ngannou serious and getting knocked out. All right, that's the way I see it. Yeah, he took him serious because, like, if he didn't take him, he
underestimated him. Though.
He wouldn't have got him from the left hook if he didn't take him serious. He took him serious. This is just where he is right now.
I don't think he took. I think he underestimated Ngannou. His post-fight interview was sort of like, bloody hell, I never saw that coming. And he had this like nervous giggle, which was quite honest because he was like bewildered, like, hold on a minute, this geezer's just knocked me down. And you saw that, like, I didn't expect him to do that. When you kind of shocked yourself, we saw that with him. So I think
Derek Chisora knocked Tyson Fury down, and Steve Cunningham knocked him down. Derek Chisora rocked him in the first fight.
Yeah, but not a novice MMA fighter coming into his first professional boxing fight. I guess that's gonna hit different because it's not his trade, is it? It's not his normal trade.
Otto Wallin rocked Tyson Fury, and they made excuses for that fight.
He cut his eye open. Yeah, I thought that would have been stopped.
In the 12th. Tyson even said he was hurt in the 12th. He said he caught me with a great shot in the 12th. Yeah. So it's not like he's got this this Oliver McCall chin where he doesn't go down or he doesn't get hurt. He can get hurt, he gets hurt and he can go down, and then Ngannou decked him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, Ngannou.
yeah,
Yeah, listen, here, we've got tactics coming up in the chat. I like this. Fury looking in shape indicates he'll try and box and move. I don't see that working against Usyk. Usyk moves too well and his hands are too fast. And the Fury who beat Klitschko is long gone. Are we doing this again, Beats? And shout out to Ron A for that. I do love the technical breakdowns of it. Are we judging already? Are we writing tight? Like, we can't really write him off, can we? But we're starting to say,
that was a very
we've
good
heard,
comment.
his legs are gone. What? Listen, Usyk is Usyk, but there is a way to beat Usyk. And one thing I will say about Tyson Fury, he's got IQ.
Here's the thing, yeah. I think Ronnie made a very good point. He kind of like everyone said, "Oh, he's much bigger. He can just walk over." And no. If you do that against Usyk, he will ruin you. If you go in there reckless against Usyk, he will.
Oh, he can't be reckless.
Yeah. He will ruin you, no matter who you are. So I think he is going to go back and try and box and move and try and feel his way in. And as the fight goes on, he's going to try and wear Usyk down and make it get physical. I think that would be the tactics. Yeah.
You know what I think he's going to do? I think he's going to go in there and stick it on him. I think he's going to be the aggressor. I think he's going to stick on the front foot. And I think he's going to attack the body. That's what I see him doing.
He'll get countered. He'll get countered.
Yeah, he'll get countered. Yeah, that's the risk you got to take with Usyk because he's a good counter puncher, isn't he? And the thing is with Usyk, Beats, you know what he does? He does tap, 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 bang, tap, tap, tap. So he's constantly tapping at you. He's up, he's down, he's going from side to side. His legs are moving about, tap, tap, tap. It's about breaking that rhythm. And I think if Tyson Fury goes in against him, I just think he's going to go in front foot, aggressive, and really try and take those legs away. And the only way you can take the legs away is from the body. Listen to me, but that's just my opinion.
I hear what you're saying, but if you make mistakes early against Usyk, it's hard to get back in the fight. With most of Eastern Europeans, if you have a bad start, they've got such great muscle memory of what you've done wrong, and they will punish you and keep punishing you. Like, you need to get a good. Yes. You need to get a good start, and if he starts making mistakes early, Usyk is just like he'll take a lot of confidence away from Fury. A lot of confidence.
But it's, you know what's so good though, Beats, because we can literally have a fantastic debate on how this fight goes. Because when you spoke about like pressure on the younger fighters, the pressure that is going to be on, and I'm going to say there's going to be more pressure on Tyson Fury going into this fight, is going to be phenomenal. There's going to be a hell of a lot of pressure going into this fight because guess what? You got all the other greedy, hungry heavyweights waiting to see how this fight goes so they can get their share of the food. To me, this fight is going to be, it's not even just the fight itself. It's the results. It's what happens next. You've heard Eddie Hearn say, well, we're not really going to make any plans for Anthony Joshua until May the 18th. That's all you're hearing, May the 18th. And it's like we're all relying on, how's this fight going to go to determine the direction of the heavyweight division, the global heavyweight division. So that is pressure. But I love it because obviously I'm not in the hot seat, but damn, make or break time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that comment you told me about what Usyk said, my camp never stopped. That's chilling.
Yeah.
That's chilling.
I cannot wait for it.
And he doesn't appear to have nerves. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if it's an Eastern Bloc thing where they just got nerves of steel. He don't appear to have nerves, even though like he's outsized and outweighed and outreached. He doesn't seem to be worried about it, you know, and what that is, he is what is poker face. That's why, see, Joe Joyce should never come out and say, "Oh, I never fight Zhang." He's supposed to keep that quiet. You
Yeah.
deal with demons. Boxers have got you got to deal you got to deal with your demons, but you hide it, man. You hide it. You don't say that out. It's giving away too much. You're giving too much away to prospective rivals. You don't do that. And Usyk, you know, it's interesting, man. I've got him slight favorite to win.
Have you? I don't know yet. I'm gonna wait till I watch. I like to watch all the lead up and stuff, because when I watched the lead up with Joshua and Ngannou, I knew at the press conference when I saw them have the face off that Anthony Joshua was going to do it. And when I saw Ngannou, and I said this last week, when I saw Ngannou take that big, deep breath, but it was almost like, oh, for God's sake, we're here. It was like a nervous breath just before the first bell went. So I like to analyze the fight week. I do believe Usyk is beatable. Obviously, as is Fury, but it's not just the fight itself beats. It's what awaits the fight fans, the other fighters after this fight happens. It's a phenomenal fight. Obviously, it's something that hasn't happened. How many years has it been, Lennox Lewis? And how many years has it been?
Oh, we're going at least 25 years. Something like that.
And when are we going to see something like that again? So, and these heavyweights, they're sort of like at the top end of their career. So we're making way for the fresh crop, the crop that's coming through. So this is it's a good time to be alive in boxing, and I'm reveling in absolutely everything that comes with it. But I think we'll be entertained on the night.
Oh, indeed.
We'll definitely be entertained. But listen, we're gonna, if it's all right with you, Beats, I don't know if you've got anything else that you wanted to say before we go, but I'm gonna close. And then obviously we'll come back. I'm going to say, can we do this next week? Can we do it again?
Yeah, man, we do next Tuesday. Like, what we got weekend coming up? Then
we've got two shows. We've got the Queensbury Friday, Matchroom Saturday. And then, you know, the week after we've got the British title fight with Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark, and that's a good card. That's a good card as well. So
we preview that next week.
Yeah, we've got to definitely run through the card. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening. 113 we got up to tonight. So if you could hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. If you're not, please subscribe to Boxing Beats and Rhymes. He's the channel that when I go on my morning runs, he's the guy that I listen to. He runs with me down the canal, even though he doesn't know it. But a fantastic channel, very knowledgeable. So please head over and subscribe to his channel. And thank you once again to all of you. Thank you to Beats. And you know what we say at October Red. Stay ready.
Give a like, people.